Hello, welcome to part 17 of this Learning JavaScript playlist. Today we are going to look at events. So let me just type an H3. An event listener is a function we hand to the browser and say. Oops. Run this when someone clicks here. So let's start with that. So let me delete the body of my super simple document web page. Let's name it coffee shop to keep the same thing. And on the body, we already have the script that points to our JS file with our JavaScript. Let's add a paragraph with closed and an ID to status. There we go, closed. And now let's add a button. A button with open up. Let's add an ID of open. Save. So now we have a button that when we click, it does nothing yet. So now let's move over to our JavaScript file and let's grab those elements to bring them in as object, as we saw in the last video. The same thing, const status is gonna be a document dot get element by ID. What element? The one that ID is named status. And then, because I am lazy to type, let me copy paste and then rename this one to open button. And with the status, the ID of the button was open. All right. So now the new stuff. Every element we grab has a method called addEventListener. And it takes two things: the name of the event we care about as a string and a function to run when that happens. So that is our loved callback functions. Who would have guessed, right? So open button dot, and here it is. One of the things it has, one of the methods here, method addEventListener. And then what do we care about? Well, we care about when someone clicks, and then a callback function. So let's type the callback function. So the first thing it takes as a string, the event we are interested in, and right now we put click. But then if we Google, there's a whole bunch of stuff we can listen to, we can care about, like, for example, double click, mouse over, mouse out, on hover, on change, key up, key down. So there's a whole bunch of them. Right now we are interested when someone clicks the button. So when someone clicks, it will trigger this callback. So then when someone clicks, runs this callback, and we are gonna change the status dot text content attribute, and we're gonna set it equal to open. Let me save. So if we click here, it changed the text content of my status element to open. The thing is, I can only change it. Well, every time I click, it changes to open, but it was already set to open, right? If I reset the page, goes back to how the HTML is, and then click, changes to open. Simple enough, right? And just to really take home the adding a callback as an input to another function, let me rewrite this thing like this. Function handle open, and then here we do this, right? And here, instead of passing in the anonymous function itself, we pass the name of the function, handle open. And I named it like this. We could have named it anything, right? Like open shop. The name, it's the same. So let's save, closed, and then if let me save here. If I click open up, there, open. One more thing, just a common mistake by my part, for example, is here pass in not the name of the function to let the addEventListener function run it. But we add in parentheses here. Look what happens when I save. Look this closed. I will Control S right now, Control S. There. Change to open without me even clicking, and then when I click, pues nothing will happen. And if I reload, it stays open. So we need to pass the function's name, so it runs it when this function is triggered with a click. Or better yet, the browser is constantly watching for lots of different events all the time, but right now it only cares about a click on this button because we already ran this JavaScript. So JavaScript passed the click to the browser. So the browser is waiting for one of those. If one of those events it's constantly watching is a click on this button, it runs this open shop. And it not only does that, the browser also sends back an object. And let's look at an example of that. So let's also console.log e.type, not else, e. And what is this e.type? Well, it's an attribute of a e object, but we need to use it in our specify a name variable for a parameter that our open shop will take. So it will take a parameter, and in this case I just named it e, and this e will get passed in by the browser when the browser runs this open shop. When it listens to an event that is a click on the button, it will open this open shop and pass as a parameter the object itself. So let's open up the console, and then let me reload, close, and save over here, save. run this here. So it changes to open, and we also console log our event type, which is, of course, a click. All right. So let's ramp up the examples. So I'm gonna add here let me delete this button. Let me delete the paragraph and the button. And I'm gonna, let's add a div. And on ID is equal to menu, an empty div. So let's close this, close the save this, because it's trying to run our script. So let me just delete the whole thing, save here, save here. All right. Empty div. So now let's get to a JavaScript, and let's const menu and save all menu we have been using. House blend. Let's see if I wrap this like this. Yes. Now const list, and it's gonna be our document dot get element by ID, and then so list, because our menu already is our array. So this is our items, and then this is our menu to get element by ID menu. So it makes more sense, no? Right, the fun begins. Menu dot items dot, sorry, we are for each, we are doing the for each method. Yep, method on our items array, and our for each, we've now used it a couple of times, takes in, guess what? Yes, a callback, and runs a callback and passes in every item of our array. So let's name it inside here. Let's name it name, just so I don't repeat the items. Or yeah, item is okay, right? It passes each item to our callback and does something. So what will it do? So let's have it create a button document dot, and here we are gonna create element, and this create element method takes in a string. It's gonna, sorry, so we are gonna create a button object in JavaScript, and then we are gonna place the text on the button, btn dot text content equals the item. Simple enough. Now, on each of these buttons we created and attached a text content to them, because it's going to be one for each. And right now it's just an object in our for each loop in our JavaScript. It's an object. So let's add an event listener here. Button dot, we need an event listener for on each button, like the event listener we just saw. So it also listens for a click, and then it's gonna take a callback. And here the callback, I'm gonna write it here directly. And it's gonna status dot is it status dot wait, sorry, I realized I deleted the paragraph. And here the ID is so it's where it was the open or closed. So right now we are gonna have just an empty paragraph with the ID status. So now when the event listener, when I click and I run this callback is gonna change the text content of the status object. So now I realized I don't have a status object over here. Const status is equal to document.getElement by ID, and then we get the status. So we're going to change the status content to you clicked on, you ordered a plus item. So now we create a button object. And then we change the text of the button to the text content we specify here, right? To whatever comes in from an array. So the button is going to say whatever is on the array, each button. And then we add an event listener to, well, I think we added the event listener to the browser to listen to what goes on to each button. I'm just going to set event listener to button, each button. A click in particular, right? So we add an event listener, and then we are gonna menu dot append each button object we created to the menu. Each button created as a child of the menu div. And here I did it wrong. This is append child. I don't know what's the difference really. Append, I don't know. Append child is what we've been doing, right? So let me save here. Nothing. Save here. And there we go. We have 3 buttons. And if I click, you order a latte, you order Americano, you order house blend. And here we go. Magic, right? So let me just add text to the P and put empty order. No items on order. Save. There, no items on the order. So when I click, it does not do the jumping, skipping thingy. There. You order a latte. And maybe next video we will do it like if it were a cart and we add items to a cart or something more fun, right? So anyways, hope you enjoyed this one. That will be it for this video. So thanks a lot for watching and see you on the next one.